We are live back from Australia.
Some of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and we were saying before, I must say that the one thing that I did miss from this trip is my compadre, my right wingman. You weren't there. I didn't have the Simpsons jokes and
Was
all
there at
the
least like was somebody at least
mammal
picking up on the
expertise.
wit? Yeah, I mean,
Eric did a great job of keeping the humor alive, but it still wasn't the same without
Yeah, it
you
wasn't
all.
the
I mean,
same.
I've been on a couple herping trips with you, and yeah, you were definitely missed.
you got to
Yeah.
keep the wit alive. You got to keep everybody rolling in between finding snakes, otherwise it
Yeah.
just becomes dull. So
We did bring back your Smokey the Wombat. We did we did do an ode to
We
him.
tried our best. Yeah, for
you
sure.
can only be just so sleep deprived, running off of caffeine and sugar before you bring that one out. So
We got Matt too. All
Matt's
right.
here.
There he is.
Going on?
There's Matt.
What's up?
Not much.
Yeah, so
shouldn't you be watching a Phillies game or something? I don't know.
It's going to be short because it's Phillies and Eagles tonight. So I'm going to need the phone for one and the TV.
And I got to
for
do
the
this
other.
for the other thing and make sure
Yeah.
that
if we all see the sun and see Matt yell and scream and the screen goes black, we'll know.
he's got to get down to South Philly to climb a pole. I hear. I don't know why they do this.
So for everybody that doesn't know, we just got back from our 2022 MPR goes to Southeast
Somewhere.
Queensland.
Yeah, goes herping somewhere. Yeah,
I'm actually I don't know about you guys, but I'm finally coming out of the fog of the just the whole coming back into reality.
I'm still not there.
you guys have been really quiet. It's like we're home, we're alive, dead. All messaging is just dead, and I'm like I guess I'll get pictures later. Like I don't.
Well, I will say this before Matt jumps off because we'll start here. For everybody that says, "Oh, the trip isn't that bad. It's not that long," and all this stuff. Me and Matt had a 17-hour layover in Canada. Dude, it was so bad.
Two different stops, but it was bad. Yeah, 37 hours total coming back home.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Wow.
We left Brisbane, flew to Vancouver, had an 11-hour layover.
11, yeah.
So
what the hell do you do with an 11-hour layover?
Oh, don't even start me about Canada. They can go screw themselves in their airports.
Did you leave the airport, go do something for the day?
No. Vancouver wasn't so bad because it was during operating hours. It was longer, but it was during operating hours. Toronto, we landed at 1:30, so it was a.m. Yeah, there's nothing to do, and then we made a mistake of walking. We tried to get to our gate trying to be smart or something like that. Eventually, all the doors locked behind you, and some lady's like, "Well, you got to go to arrivals now." So we had to go through customs and everything all over again at 4:45 in the morning.
Damn.
And
we didn't do that enough.
And we were downstairs. And we're like, it's so quiet downstairs, right? There's nothing going on. And me and Matt are like, I don't know. I said, Matt, I think he's trying to lay on this Starbucks bench, and there's a table that he can't
it's so tiny
out of the way. He's like, oh man, let's go lay on the Starbucks bench. And we're like, okay, So we're sitting down there, and then I was like, I think we should maybe see if we can push to the gate. And we get upstairs, and there's fucking long line. And we're like, what the hell? It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
I couldn't believe how long. It was crazy how many people. It was not 100. It was thousands of people. The airport was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we didn't see any of them people come in. So it was frustrating. And we had a really nice spot before we decided to walk through everything. It would have been way nicer. So instead we're at arrivals, and if you don't have a suitcase and you're sleeping somewhere, they got security chasing you out because homeless people sleep in there. So it was oh man, it was.
Yeah,
we screwed ourselves real bad. It was bad.
Yeah, and then they had these couches, but they were shaped like a snake almost, right? So
it would not let you sleep on there.
You could sit in it real comfortably,
lay across it.
poor Matt's like trying to at least me in the Hobbit size, I could probably just cuddle in.
Yeah.
But Matt's like trying to get comfortable, and I'm like, oh man, I just feel bad. He can't
I wouldn't be able to sleep. Yeah.
It was terrible.
Jesus.
But
yeah, I'm way off. I'm still way off. Like I don't sleep during the day, even though I'm tired, and then at nighttime, no sleep. I just toss and turn.
Yeah. Me too.
I think it's going to take a little bit, and not to totally fuck with you guys, but like Sunday, we're messing with the clocks again. So, I mean, just, it's a wash, guys. Just, you'll get back together, Yeah,
but and then on top of all that, I'm just trying to focus on resting and getting sleep. And I have so much just housework to catch up on. Like I ran through my snake room, but not thoroughly, and just getting back to work. It's like I said, I can't wait to do it again, but I'll be more mentally prepared for all this stuff for when I get back. Like better plans. I'll be Googling, what do you do to get back on schedule, or how do you keep your mental stability?
Did you guys have to go back to work
this?
Immediately, or can you take a couple days to kind of?
Eric was the worst. Yeah.
Eric's I had to put on my tie in the airport and land. They threw me out at ShopRite, and I fell onto it. It was
I was at work at 6:00 in the morning the following. So we got in I don't know, what was it, 9:00 in the morning on Saturday?
10:30, and then even the whole day was just bad because we even had trouble with the Uber. It was just wild how crazy that whole day was.
Yeah.
It's it won't end. Just please, God, get me home.
So basically, I didn't sleep basically the whole layovers, and I would doze off here and there for maybe an hour or something like that, but not sleep. So when we got to home, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to lay down, and I'm like, no, smacking myself, no.
Did you fall asleep? Did you keep yourself up?
No, I didn't. No, I stayed awake. I'm slamming flat whites. I'm like, I'm drinking cappuccinos and flat whites, and just trying to stay awake as much as I can.
Yeah.
But
he went to Wawa and got the box of Joe, and then just put a straw in it, and then that was
just drank it all.
He held it like some sort of bagpipe and just kind of drank it all.
I had the best flat white ever. No, I don't even remember what the place was called. They had the best breakfast sandwich, brekkie sandwich, as you would call it down under.
As they would, a brekkie sandwich.
It was called a brekkie sandwich.
Yeah,
and it was delicious. And we were all sitting there eating it. It had a hash brown on it.
Because that is something that happens in Australia, Keith.
No.
That place was the best eaten because we got that fish dinner there too.
Oh
yeah. Was it one of those places that this was because
that was in Agnes Waters. Yeah.
Comparing this to Darwin with how remote some of the places were in Darwin, did you guys get out into the bush, or was there still town kind of feel to some of it?
It was more town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel I think than Northern Shore, but we got out in the bush for sure.
The second spot we stayed was a little beach town, and then not far from there was a town. That's where we had the breakfast that you liked and all. But it felt pretty remote. But then, like I said, you go 15 minutes, you're in this. Well, the little beach town was really a strip mall, so it wasn't anything crazy.
Eric does kind of judge his experiences by how much of a good cup of coffee he can get. He didn't like Hamburg until he found this spot that's nearby that he a really good cup of coffee. Yeah. So
this is very true. The coffee was okay, but when we went to the remote spot, it was kind of not so good. But I give them an A for the coffee.
All right.
The the whole barbecue thing, I give it an F.
We'll get to that. So let's start. I mean, you guys land.
Yeah.
Obviously go herping, and immediate, was it run right out of the airport, or did you have to go to a spot and then just walk us through what happened?
Well, we had to get the car.
That is a thing. Yeah.
And then Eric had to drive out of a city where you don't know anything yet because you don't have anything under your belt for driving on the right side of the car and the left side of the road and all that kind of stuff. So he got just thrown in the deep end of the pool trying to drive us out of that spot. So that was a little hairy, and we're all like zombies after traveling for 24 hours.
And Rob's phone was our directions, and it just happened to be jamming up and not catching up to what was going on. So it was just a nightmare altogether. I felt so bad for Eric because
you passed the turn. You passed the turn, right? And then it would be like, oh, you should have made a left there.
No, that phone would have been out a window. No.
Rob was pissed. He was ready to throw it out a window.
Yeah. We stopped at a park, and it was starting. It was about to rain, and I think at the end it actually it was starting to rain. But here's some of the shots of where it was. But Matt can tell you what he found.
Yeah, we were all kind of walking the path, and I decided to kind of go off the trail, and I saw either a kangaroo or a wallaby, just the back of them real fast. So I just kept on staying on the trail because I just got there. I haven't even seen one yet. And I hear rustling, and I'm thinking it's that. And next thing you know, I just see 4 arms moving fast towards a tree. And I was like, monitor, lace monitor, just yelled it. And it went up the tree and just like that and posed perfect and just hung out there. So
that's huge.
It was pretty good size. I mean, he was pushing 4 feet, no, Eric?
I think so. I would say 4.
So I think it's Teresa's first time, to Australia. So we get out of the car, we're walking zombies. Matt finds us in 10 minutes. She's like, shit, this is going to be easy. I'm like, no, wait, honey.
How are you guys so excited about the shit you found? It's right there.
I was pumped because I found something, and I was like, well, the pressure's off me to find something.
Thank you.
And I thought I found a lace monitor. Not that I wanted to find a lace monitor, but I thought we were going to see a bunch on this trip, and that was the only one we wound up seeing. So
there's that unknown pressure that's on you when you're on a herping trip that you have to somehow either contribute by finding something or contribute by driving or you have to bring something to the table. Otherwise you're never going to get invited back. So that's awesome.
And that'll show you how far away we were. That thing
couldn't get that close.
No, we could. We got pretty close.
It let us get. It was kind of just felt that it was hidden there on that tree. It didn't really move until the very end. But
so, who climbed up the tree and did the wanker shot with the monitor? And, rested it down. Who's got ripped up? Teresa's all ripped up. Okay.
It was pretty good size. Yeah,
nice.
I know we struggled to get out of that park. We walked in circles. Yeah,
and it started some cool birds in there too.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have a bird on your list, Keith, that you were looking for this time? Because I know you wanted the black cockatoos last time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, well, last time we saw the red-tailed black cockatoos. This time I got a glimpse of a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. But I also saw Gala cockatoos, and I saw some little Corella cockatoos. So that was really cool.
He's doing this, and then he's got one of the rarest cockatoo species in his living room, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's that thing over there," and Bull and I downstairs. I don't. Yeah.
Well, the one place we were at, we saw those pale-headed rosellas and rainbow lorikeets, and I was just lost. There was no real reptiles to be found in that spot. It was at the Airbnb, and I just wandered off filming birds at that point.
We lost Keith. All right. Well.
It was we'll get into Scott was saying that it's a young male that we saw is what it was. But that was a cool spot. I think after that we just went to grab something to eat and just started making our way up north because we flew into Brisbane and then I think it was close to a 7-hour. So after a flight in, which wasn't that bad.
7-hour drive after a flight.
I think it was 8. I think you're it was 8. Yeah. Which I assumed it would be 2 or 3. I didn't check, but when Rob was like, "No, it's 8," I was like, "Oh man, this is."
Well,
wild.
that was when we landed in Brisbane. I had forgotten that we had another. A triple shot, you say?
Yes.
If anybody in Australia could somehow find a way to send me a case of those for Christmas, I'd be a happy man. But,
however, Mr. Iper has turned me on to something far better, far superior.
Is it the whiskey or is it the coffee?
Well, it is the whiskey too. But...
Both, yeah.
Yeah. It was what was it called? Hold on.
I can't remember the name either.
I couldn't remember the name of the whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah, what was the name of the whiskey, Scott?
We have to know for the holiday show if we're going to get real good this year.
So, it was really good.
It was
really
nice. It was like maybe a shot and a half or a double shot. Scott poured us. We all just took one, and Eric was that's all he needed.
Dugite. That's it, man. I was feeling good.
Hobbit sizes,
far superior iced
Farmers
coffee.
Union iced coffee.
Oh, dude, it was delicious.
I mean, it comes in a carton, make you feel like you're in kindergarten still. But
I absolutely did, man. But it was so good. Yeah. But I guess that first night, we drove and seemed like we were never going to stop driving. And then
we've had bypassed the zoo actually because the flooding and the rain was so heavy. We were going to take a quick stop at that Steve Irwin, the Australia Zoo, but it was just the weather was so bad. Yeah, it was just
that sucks.
Yeah, Rob drove through some dodgy spots.
Sure.
Remember, assume every body of water has a crocodile in it. Yeah.
So then I want to say, I think it was Rob and Matt, right? That saw a snake and yelled snake, jump out of the car and run
do
down.
all that thing, yeah.
I definitely didn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me and Rob that yelled it.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. So they say snake or whatever, and then he comes back down, and he's holding a carpet python, and he opens the door. He's like, I guess you don't want to see a carpet python. And I'm like, what?
No, I don't. Put it back. Yeah.
So this was the first one. And remember how I was telling you about, to me, again, this thing was beautiful.
Damn.
Oh, dude, it was so nice. But it's pouring rain. I can't understand what this carpet was doing, moving around in the pouring rain.
The prey doesn't move when it's raining, though.
Or maybe it got flooded out, whatever.
Right. Or maybe some prey moves when it's raining. Maybe it's cool enough to move, and you just got to move regardless of whether or not it's raining.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, but that was a really, really nice.
And where were you guys? What was the closest place to you guys when you saw this one? Was it still Brisbane, or had you kind of?
So we were up in
Byfield.
Yeah.
We were like a mile away from where we were staying, or 2 miles. We were really close.
Yeah,
you're that close, and you're like you want to just go to bed, but but
there's a full shot of what
I mean. The only thing I could think of, Eric, is that it was displaced from the rain wherever it was held up, got flooded and pushed it out, and it was just on the move because it was just raining so hard that I can't see any animal wanting to be pelted with those raindrops, let alone on a barren road where there's no protection from foliage or anything. He was just on the crawl at that point.
And this is a chain eye, so because of where it was.
There we go.
There you go, Keith.
See what I'm saying?
With superhero
rain.
Yeah,
you can see the rain. We're all getting soaked, but I was loving it because it was a carpet.
And exactly, you got to get over you're in Australia. Let's roll with it.
The place we had there was pretty nice. That was
okay.
Awesome. It was great.
Cute.
Yeah, that was the bedroom. And the bathroom was sort of like outside.
It was one of them, yeah. I took an outside shower. That was awesome.
So that place had an interesting thing, Owen. We can't figure out. Me and Eric were sitting out there one morning having coffee on the deck, and there was this outdoor furniture, and it had cushions on it. And there was one cushion right there. You can see those wicker chairs. They had cushions on them. And the one chair was full of droppings that I assumed were mouse droppings, and it wasn't there the day before, so it happened that night, and we can't figure out why a mouse went up there and had all these droppings. But the neat part was there was some indigenous spider sitting right next to one of the droppings because these little flies were landing.
Oh, and it was just snabbing them.
And it was waiting to snag the thing. So it's pretty cool to see that. But we can't figure out if it was rodent or maybe a bat or what the heck was on that one cushion to leave 30 droppings. It was weird.
What probably happened is if it was like a ton of droppings that appear in one place overnight, something got raided. So it was probably a nest nearby got tore up and all those droppings kind of came flying out, because that's what happens a lot when you see like small rodent nests get raided. All that stuff just comes flying out.
That could be.
So, yeah.
Maybe in that wicker they had a nest.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, that was a cool spot. You know, I'll play. I took a video of the of the. Hold on. That was the bathroom.
The outside shower. Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I like it. You could be going to take a shower and there could be a carpet python.
We heard Matt singing one morning out there.
I'm the only one. I don't know why anyone else didn't try the inside shower. That thing was. The outside shower. That was nice.
Yeah, that was a cool spot.
That is cool.
Let me stop that. Okay. Yeah, and I think for the most part there, I guess we headed out to there was a couple places where we were looking for rusty monitors down in the mangroves. We went
was
there
there
a couple
was there
days.
a species? Was there was there an Owen Pelly? Was there a species that we knew would be somewhat rare to find that we were after?
Rusty monitor would have been in
the
there.
rusty monitors would have been there.
Okay.
But two other cool things in that spot were, what was that? It was a whip snake that the host by his house found, and we scoped that out. His dog had like kind of chased it under a rock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of that. There it is.
I forget which whip snake it was, but it was one of the whip snakes.
Yeah, just sort of chilling under the rock.
And the owner had said that I don't remember how long before we got there, but one of his dogs had actually been killed by a taipan.
Yeah, it's a lesser black whip snake.
Really? Taipan, you say? Okay.
And then the other interesting thing, but very sad thing that we found in that spot was we came across on one of our hikes a pond. And Matt, right there, and the ground was alive with little baby cane toads that were like the size of an eraser head. But and I'm telling you, there was hundreds of thousands of them. I mean, they were
everywhere.
Literally everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the floor just moved. It was.
Yeah. You would have needed a flamethrower to exterminate them out. There was just that many of them. It was crazy.
Yeah.
When me and Rob seen it at first, we thought it was like some kind of jumping spiders or crickets, and then, we looked down further, and it was just all little tiny, like
little toadlets,
like littler than your pinky nail. Yeah, little black cane toads just everywhere.
Wow.
I thought this was whenever I go to these places, we think of Rockhampton as a type of coastal carpet, but it's just weird when you're driving and you see Rockhampton like it's a real place. I don't know.
It's a road. It's a town. Yeah.
Just always strange. We went to what was I don't know what the name of the like the beach was that we went to. Where was that?
Yeppoon.
Where it was kind of raining and overcast, but
I think it was we were in Yeppoon or whatever.
That's when we walked out on that deck, I think, right?
Yeah.
This
was the one spot we went to. Again, I think there was supposed to be Lacey monitors and stuff, but it was just there was a kookaburra.
Okay.
It was cool.
Pretty.
You could sort of see when we were walking up there. You could see some sea turtles popping up down in the
beautiful scenery there for sure.
Yeah. Go to the beach in Australia. They said. I'm here. There's nothing wrong with the beach in Australia.
Yeah. See how many people are on the beach.
Exactly. There's nothing in the water that could kill you in all the beach in Australia. Yeah.
Nothing at all.
No, bucks, jellyfish don't exist. I don't think that's right area, though.
It was still a cool spot. Really,
it's gorgeous.
Really cool spot. But there we are, Rockhampton again.
Love with that sign. Oh, that's how much we spent on gas. All right, next. Yeah.
I think from there, really, one of the nights we were coming back, I believe, Rob. I think it was Rob. I think because he did a lot of driving this time.
He did do a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But that was another carpet we found.
Sold,
and this
put
one,
in a bag.
Right?
Yeah, I like it. Banding. I like the other one too. I'll take them both.
This was we found headed towards a chicken coop. it was on its way.
You interrupted his jaunt over to snag some chicks. I mean, come on.
Yeah. What about the guy that came out? He wondered what we were doing.
Yeah. And he was we were like, oh shit.
Here we go.
We're
God.
We're thinking in true US fashion how we would handle it. But he was super nice, and he's just like, oh, you came all this way to look at snakes. And
he goes, I never thought I'd walk out of my house and see 5 Americans staring at a carpet snake.
Yeah, I chase these things out of my goddamn chicken coop every goddamn day.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
I got 20 of them out back. Yeah.
I think I got real good video of it sort of going into the bush, and that'll give you an idea of the size.
Let's say, what was the biggest one you found?
I think this might have been the one.
That was the biggest
that's
one.
a nice size one.
Those two were very mellow too, compared to some of the littler ones.
The little ones were,
You gotta be feisty when you're tiny. Man. Yeah, that's how you survive.
Yeah. So, what was? Here's a close up of it, Owen. You'll appreciate.
I'm already sold. I mean, like you already. Yes, done. My God, yes.
Right.
It looks like my goddamn Brisbane.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's another shot.
But that's another chain eye. So, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were farther north than.
I feel like all the carpets we found were like bright and vibrant, like they just came out of shed or something. And nothing was like in shed or
one eye or been
by
something.
The first snake was a little lean, but.
There you go. Temperature, humidity. I took that every time we found pretty much anything.
Okay.
But in times and what the weather was and all that stuff. So I got some stuff there. But the humidity is the one thing that I always notice is high with where the carpets are.
Okay.
So, then then I think we headed out the next day. We went out to park, and again, it's sort of surprising that we parked on somebody's lawn, and they were like, go ahead.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah. Like we actually stopped, and Matt ran out in Philly fashion and asked him, yo, dude, you care if we park here? And the guy's like, yeah, pull up on the lawn. We're like, holy shit, there's no.
Are you sure?
I was stunned. They're like, I said, where do we park to get into that? Park and walk the trail. He's like, just pull up on that lawn. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. I know I'm a hobbit and all.
Let's say, so this is like a 5-foot plant, right?
That thing was insane. That was so cool.
Yeah. He's like, dig it up or put it in the backyard, Teresa. Yeah.
You know how many birds could land in that thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there we just kind of walked around. This was
saw some kangaroos in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Couple little skinks.
And we actually got to see a male brush turkey on a nest.
That was
kind of guarding it and stuff, so that was kind of cool. And we saw some really cool spiders in there too.
Yeah.
Did the eye-shine spiders come back?
Yeah, we saw them when we were walking. Then we headed out. The invasion of Banana. We went out to. I guess it was. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was sort of like a rehabilitation center. Right up your alley, Owen. Plenty of mammals.
Something broken, fix it, and let it go. Got it.
Yeah, emus walking around. That kind of thing.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. What is it? Cobury Park Wildlife Sanctuary.
They had some cool stuff in there. They had an unbelievable cool lace monitor.
Yeah.
It was very, very showy.
There was a shingle.
That was
a lot of the animals were huge.
Biggest shingle ever.
There was a lace.
They definitely weren't shy about feeding any of their animals at this
Okay,
park.
Good. Yeah.
Everything was huge.
They had an Ackie the size of a small lace monitor. It was huge.
Well, you got to get them bulked up enough to release them because, it's only going to get worse out there for them. So,
yeah, this was the Ackie. Hold on, I'm sorry to give everybody craziness.
Rue.
Look.
No. Damn. That's a word. The bird.
Yeah, that thing was really yellow, but
yeah,
shit, it was really fat.
Ackies are all the Ackies we see in Australia are really, really pretty.
Yeah, and we did see there was the couple of blue tongues, and then there was a shingleback, and then we got to actually. I don't know.
Just laying on its side.
It was huge. It looked fake. That's how big it was. It was weird.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got attacked by the emus.
Once they knew you had food, it was all over.
Well, it was just me and you over there with the cassowary. It was just like I know. Was that me and Rob, or was that me and you, Eric? It was just like through the fence.
Me and you.
Yeah.
They're both the same height.
The way he was looking at us, it was like, what is he thinking right now? It was weird.
Straight up murder.
They had a nice exhibit for him though, Owen. They had 2 acres for him and a female. And it was all like dense jungle. So like they could get out of the public view if they wanted to. They had a really nice enclosure for those 2.
That's awesome. And the males are the ones who sit on the eggs and stuff like that too. And they're the ones who take care of the chicks. So that's cool that he was that comfortable. Well,
he was eating.
Plotting your death.
No, he was. That's what it looked like. It looked like he was just plotting on how do I kill these 2. So
either one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then we went up to, I think the next place that we kind of went to was the Mount Etna Caves National Park. That's sort of like the Bat Caves, where you will. And I think there's, I think there's footage somewhere of, like spotted pythons sort of hanging out in the outcrops as the bats would fly out.
Yeah.
What was interesting about that is we went to this one spot that was kind of like, it kind of went down, and the temperature difference was insane. It was like there was air conditioning on in this. It was crazy how cold it was in this spot. You couldn't really go into it too much because it was kind of locked up, but just walking down into that little spot, the temperature difference was crazy.
The terrain was really cool there. Like I was saying to Teresa that even though when you don't find a reptile in those spots, just knowing what reptiles are there and walking through that environment is just like such a high for me, because you can envision what these animals are doing or how they're surviving or what they're looking for food, or just looking at the terrain and all. I find that a real high, to see that stuff, even though you don't find the animal, just knowing it's in that area is very cool.
Yeah, that was
even just checking out the stuff,
cold.
Yeah.
What is it? The one trip we went to where we went to go see like the magnetic termite mounds. Like I talk about them all the goddamn time just because they're so cool.
That
so
was cool.
Seeing like a bat colony, like rock crevice, stuff like that, I'd be all about.
Oh yeah, see, check this out.
What the hell's this?
This is weird.
If the ants made that, they actually plastered those leaves together. Yeah, it was pretty cool. They were those green ones that bit you.
Don't poke it.
Don't poke it. They look just like the same kind of an ant.
Those things hurt like a mother.
Yeah.
They built that though.
I mean, it looks like cement between the leaves, right?
Yeah, no,
don't touch pretty wild.
See, you can see them on the outside though.
No,
it's not what you got. I think that's what got you that time.
Yeah, those hurt like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we didn't see any spotted pythons, but to Keith's point, because we were in so many spots where carpet pythons are, like I really have a good feel for like what here we go. Scott's got the lowdown. They spray formic acid. It makes a great tea. Oh, okay. Wonderful.
So cool. Boil it is what Scott says. Got
it. Nipper and his teas. But yeah, it really gives you a good feel for like, I say it all the time, like the species that you're keeping, but yeah, this was at the top when we got to the spot. It was pretty cool. That's sort of at the top of the caves.
Wow.
There you go. It's another.
Oh, and remember that hike we did when we were in the Mertens monitor area in the Northern Territory where we had to go up all those stairs?
Yeah.
It was very similar to that. Like there was a pretty good walk to get up to that spot.
Yeah, it had the jagged rocks were just like, man, if you would have fell on them, man, it's game over.
That would have hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a cool spot. Definitely. I think really what we were gearing to see here is some spotted pythons.
That would have been cool.
We found
night tiger, right?
Night tiger, yeah.
Of course. They're
much prettier in the Northern Territory.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Microendemic stinks too. Yeah, I don't know, Scott. I do have a picture of a pretty cool. That's the thing. Like when you're here, like I don't know. I'm looking back on some of the pictures that I took, and I see all these different species of skinks. And as I'm going through, we saw some really cool skinks, man. And
I mean, you take them for granted because they're so small, and you're looking for the bigger stuff. But really, man, some of those ones with the red sides and all, they were
red sides were really cool.
Yeah, this striped one. Yeah, I don't know what species that is. I didn't look it up yet. Yeah, he will.
We don't need a book. We got a Scott.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to Scott and Ty. Oh my God, man. But yeah, well.
Love them.
That was probably my favorite part of the trip because of Imbricata.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And is Scott still cleaning up your tears from the floor in his house
from leaving? Yeah.
I was as taken with the Parente though. Those Parente for me was just as much of a high as it was for you for that.
Parentes are gorgeous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we went to the Botanical Gardens and
that place was really cool.
That looks like the tree where we found the freaking water. Like it was like a giant water python. Yeah.
Just really cool, amazing.
That's awesome.
And Eric, your sister was blown away by it because you were sending her pictures left and right of all the different plants in there. She was blown away by all the stuff they had there. Right?
Oh yeah, I was just sending her. What's this? What species is this? She's
what
like,
is this thing?
That's blah blah blah. And I'm like, check this out. She's like,
I just stepped on this plant. What is it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, we did. We'll get to that. But Scott did take us to the stinging tree. We saw some turtles out here when we were cruising around. They came looking for some food, which was
the magpies there. The magpies were very cool there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool spot. And I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, there was a cool little shed that sort of had like orchids in it, and this was a kind of a cool plant that I saw. I think you guys will remember this, but there were like these red, just like little bomb palms, off of the plants. They were all over the trees. See them like all over. It was pretty cool.
It's an Australian plant, so if you touch it, it will dissolve your skin.
It will kill you.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but
the stinging tree.
Like, don't touch that.
So like this was so Croombit Tops, they had, I guess what they did is they kind of like recreated a spot and sort of had like what the plant life would look there. I'm assuming that's what it was. But this section here was Crumbit Tops, which is where that weird carpets come from. But I'll play you just sort of a. Scott, you dirty dog. He's drinking the iced coffee watching us. But this was
cool.
sort of like, this was like, I mean, if you think of a carpet python enclosure and you want to try to envision what you should build,
when I think of a scene from Jurassic Park, this is what I envision. Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Matt, I think you saw 2 big skinks there too. Didn't you cross that little bridge?
Yeah. When I was running across, they were definitely like, they were bigger than all the small stuff we found, but not as big as when we thought we saw the blue tongue.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'd do a shot. What amazed me with some of these trees is how tall they were. And like, the vegetation is all the way at the top, whereas like how we have like the leaves and stuff are like from the bottom up to the top, but here it's just in the top. You see what I mean?
Yeah, like there aren't that many branches down low. Everything's up top.
Yeah. So. Ooh,
whoa,
so much
trippy.
It's so cool how many different species of tree and everything they have that can live. And just like I said, it's crazy for me, my first time being over there. It's like pine tree, all the tropical trees, all right next to each other. Here we go. Like, it's pretty here, but it doesn't really compare to all that stuff you can see out there.
That's what kind of got me when I got off the plane is in Brisbane. We got off the plane and we go underneath it, and I'm like, wait a minute, these there were lorries, like lorikeets, parrots and stuff like flying around, and I'm like, this isn't normal. They're supposed to be like gray, ugly pigeons. Like, okay,
yeah.
So that's when you realize you're not in the same place or something's a little different. So
I kept looking for pigeons and sparrows. I didn't find any.
Nothing of the normal animals. Yeah.
No homeless people. No drug addicts. It's way out of my territory.
Yeah. This was in, I think it's Glen Eden Botanical Gardens.
That sounds right.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this is where that was. Little water feature there. There were skinks running around, like Matt was saying, and
there's a Teresa.
Yeah, elusive. Yeah,
Teresa Macapekiensis.
No, it's over.
Macapekiensis. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a cool spot. We really didn't see anything except a couple of skinks there, but
it was
still
great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what started sinking into my brain around now too? Is when we go on these trips to these type areas, the animals are avoiding heat, right? Where in captivity, we tend to keep animals cool and provide a basking spot, so they tend to be overall cool, looking for a heat spot, right? Generally every day. Where in nature, they're driven away from the heat of the day, and they're looking for cool spots. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's kind of a flip flop of what we really do in captivity.
Well, either that or we have to set our rooms to be 110 degrees. So
and give them a cool spot.
And give them a cooler and then give them shade. Yeah. So
Scott, Scott says it looks like the escarpment of Crumbit Tops, but it's sort of what it was sort of made. It's like a display of what it would look like there. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Eric was very excited for that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, Crumbit Tops.
We're not actually there. But
damn it. And then we went, I think we were driving. This is when we sort of moved closer to 1770. Yes, was it 1770 Agnes Water area? And we stayed at a real cool place, Owen. You would have loved it. And I think I showed you
like a crocodile because I'm still
it was sort of
stay at that hotel.
It was a little more rustic than the other place, but my bed was right outside.
And I say outside bedroom. Yeah.
He had a whole screen to protect him from all the wildlife.
Yeah.
Thank God all the giant predators died out years ago.
No, there was one. The first night Eric slept out there was a predator.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, right? I'm sitting there and Owen, how I hate bears and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm like scared to death when we're camping and the mountain lion's going to eat me and everything. Yeah. But when you're in Australia, I don't really worry about that because the stuff that can kill you is the stuff that we trying to find, right?
Right, true.
So I'm sleeping here. I sort of said to Rob, I was like, no, Rob, I'll sleep outside. No worries, man. I got this. And Rob's like, okay, so I go out there and I'm sleeping, and it's like, it's so peaceful because it's so quiet, and all you can hear is just the frogs and the crickets and the, and the bugs and I think it rained for a little bit, and I got a gecko running around in the roof that's just screaming at me every like 25 minutes, giving a call.
Barking, yeah.
And he's like, you can't find me, and that little bastard, I never found him, but he was there. Anyway, I start hearing breathing, right? And it's like, I'm like,
nope.
Well,
nope.
I was like, well, that's odd. and then all of a sudden I hear this cough, like somebody clearing their voice, like, I was like, what the?
Nope.
I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get killed by a serial killer.
I didn't think about that. I forgot one type of predator, man. Like it, yeah.
Yeah. So turns out that was Keith, because Keith's room was like right behind me, and I didn't realize that it was like that.
Yeah, and the walls just the ceiling didn't connect to the walls, so it was like we were all in kind of one big room.
Yeah.
It turns out it was Keith come to kill me. Oh,
yeah. So once I figure out that it was Keith that I heard, then I sort of like, I relax back down and I'm like, okay. And then in the middle of the night, I hear this huge tree branch just crash, and I was like, oh shit. So I jump up and I'm trying to look to see like what it was, but I couldn't see what it was. I couldn't find anything. But all in all, though, it's really cool. Now, we always go when it's a new moon, right? To try to avoid the full moon and all that kind of stuff. So it's like dark, like really dark. We went for a walk the one night, me, Rob, and Matt, which was pretty cool. We just walked through the environment and just checked it out. We didn't really see anything. I think in this area in particular, we were looking for death adders, right? That's sort of
that was that spot.
Looking for death adders.
Yeah, that spot was cool because the host there, his house, was in sight of where we were, and he was pretty knowledgeable about the area. And it turned out he was an animal rehabilitator.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
really
he gave
nice
us good
guy.
intel. He gave us good intel on, like, if you go over here, you can find this. If you go over there, you can find that.
Right. Might want to stop that video.
Oh,
Eric.
Woo. Righto, mate.
Yep. Anyway,
we did find a keelback.
Cool.
You found a couple of them around the pond, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think Rob put a picture of it up today. He got a really good shot of it.
He got a cool shot.
He found like 4 around that thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt. Tell them the story of what we found.
So we were, me and Eric had we had a real live animal planet going on. There was some, what was it? Was it brush possums?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bush possums. Yeah. They were in a tree. So it was 2 males fighting over a female. And it was just so entertaining. I mean, the one male looked like he had her. The other male looked like he ran away, got intimidated. He took a whole nother route around to try to get her. He attacked him, and they just kept going at it. I mean, the noises that was coming out of them, the routes they were taking, the patience. Me and Eric sat there and watched that for, 15, 20 minutes on and off. I mean.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then we were over, I sort of helping Rob take some pictures, right? And we were just standing there and Rob's getting ready, and we sort of put the top, the bucket on top of the snake or whatever. And then all you hear is that it's like, what the hell?
Right, like right by. The tree was a good distance behind, but my back was turned to it. It sounded like it was just, the sound was so crazy. It sounded like it was on my shoulder about to just jump on me. So I'm over here trying to help Rob with the pictures, like trap it, like putting the bucket over the snake so it would sit still. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, I just hear all this growling and I don't know what it was, that noise was crazy.
Yeah. Any second a possum is going to land on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another little cool skink.
Oh, that's cool.
They were the ones with the red side. Again, we looked up what species it is. I have it, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I think from there, we met up with
Jan.
Awesome kid, man. Awesome kid.
So this kid Jan, who lived in Germany, and I don't know, how old was he? Like 21?
25.
25.
He just wanted to, he said he saw that Rob Brettle's Python. You know that Python movie I have, that DVD, Owen, where it's like Australian pythons?
Yeah.
So he watched that and he was inspired that he wanted to go to Australia. So he just packed his shit up and just went to Australia.
Just like,
my God.
No place to stay. No, nothing. Just
no plan, really. Just he figured he'd make it work.
Figure it out when he gets there. It's a terrible idea.
Super passionate kid.
Yeah.
Super passionate.
What was funny though, it's like we sort of like took him as like the local expert.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
So we're climbing up the side of so the guy that owned the property, he had like one part of the property, and then there was like two other sections. So he bought the two other sections, and basically he was saying that he bought it so that they didn't build up on it, because I guess that area is kind of building up or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was saying about how he, if animals get hurt or whatever, he sort of rehabilitates them, and a lot of times they'll stay right on the property or whatever. But up on the back, it's sort of sloped up, and it's, like a mountain up at the top. You walk up this thing, but it's like rocky outcrops, like I don't know think of like sort of like the timber spots, kind of, right? In Hamburg, kind of like that, but little
more treacherous.
Yeah.
More dangerous.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't see where you're placing your foot too with the vegetation as you're getting up to that spot.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It was rough. And that's probably where the death adders were.
Yeah. Probably are.
Yeah.
So we're walking up and we're like, so where should we go, Jan? And he's just like, I don't know. Where should we go? We're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We were following you.
We're like, what should we be looking for with death adders? I don't know. What should we be looking for with that? Like, oh, shit. Oh, boy. But really, really, really cool guy. And we ended up going out to
but he was and just so you know, he was in training with a local snake hunter or catcher that was very knowledgeable in the area. So he was kind of there as an intern learning from him.
Got it.
So he knew of some spots that what was his name? Jason or Justin?
Jason,
yeah.
Where Jason had taken him. He just couldn't remember how to get there.
Got it.
But we assumed that he knew this mountain that we were up for the death adders.
Got it.
He didn't know that mountain.
Yeah.
Because the spot he took us to was pretty brutal too, and it was like it seemed like a low chance of finding red bellies there for at least for us. But
he had seen one a couple days before, I think, right, Matt? He had seen one a couple days before.
He saw one, but we were just walking through like chest high, tall grass and sand, and there were barbed wire fences that were not like, we weren't hopping fences; they were down already. So we had to like watch our ankles. It was we got to see water dragons there. We couldn't snap pictures of them because they were too quick, but we did get to see some water dragons. So
yeah,
that's cool.
It was a beautiful spot.
Yeah, it was. It was
a
really nice spot.
Then we went to this beach, which was pretty cool. That was nice just to check it out. Again, there was, I think, lacies are supposed to be there and carpets are supposed to be there. But really, really cool spot.
It's just a nice spot.
There were some cool birds there for sure. And on our way back, we're driving and we're pulling back into the spot, and I see this thing on the road, and I guess Rob, I don't know who else saw it, but it looked just like a dragon stance, and we're like, what the hell is that? So we get out of the car, and dude, one of the coolest things that we found on this trip was this bearded dragon, man.
Bearded dragon.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Look at this thing, dude.
Yeah, I was showing off that. I showed that picture to Melissa. I'm like, look at this creature.
It was super chill. It did the puff, the beard thing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the close up of
it. Is this their natural coloration? Because I've never seen a bearded dragon.
No, because we talked to the person who owned the property. We found it like in the driveway where we were staying on our way back. Yeah, we were with Jan all day. We didn't see anything. We dropped Jan off 5 minutes later. We find the bearded dragon.
Yeah,
but so we were telling the guy who owned it that, we were showing him the pictures, and he was amazed at the color because they said they kind of rescued a light colored one. And they never seen a black one like that there.
Wow.
On the property. Yeah, but some people, Matt, online I was talking to said that, and Scott could probably confirm or deny, but that in that area, they tend to be very dark. Yeah.
Okay.
That area.
Really
That's
cool, though.
Yeah, so this would have been Barbata, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that thing, dude.
And the beard, so huge, the beard on it.
I've never seen a beardy look like that.
It was so cool to see a bearded dragon, just because it's a bearded dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I'm thinking,
like light tannish color, and then all the different morphs and yada yada yada. But dude, this thing, it's like it was you could feel like the spikes on it, man. It was crazy, and I just think of like those stupid leatherback things and like where they're taking it away, like let's make it scaleless for reasons. Why?
Bullshit, it's just like, oh, okay. But really cool for sure. There was a close up of it. It never, I don't know. It didn't take a shot at anybody, right?
No. It just bluffed, and that was it. It didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't squirming. It wasn't wrestling to get away. It was very calm. It was just giving us that big bluff,
Yeah, its threat display was cool, and we couldn't even get it to go away. Remember when we it was all over? We were trying to scurry it away. It took forever for them to just take off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a close up of even closer. That was pretty cool, but
cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That beard was so cool, man. But it ran up a tree, and then it fell, it came down the tree, and then, so later that night we met up with that guy, Jason. So it was me, all of us, and Jan and Jason. And then we just started finding shit like crazy.
Jason took us down some roads he knew, and I mean, we were just. It felt like every 5 minutes we snake. It was pretty cool. And lizard,
cool.
That was a highlight for me right there. That thing.
That is so cool.
Were you hoping to see that, Keith? Like that was.
Yeah, absolutely. That was high on my hit list for sure.
Yeah.
What's cooler than a legless lizard that eats other lizards?
It was so weird to see it like licking its face with its stuff. Yeah. It just was weird, It's weird.
Cleaning its eyes.
Yeah.
I think I might have got a video.
There's always that one weird random thing that like is in the herping trip that you kind of weren't really expecting, but then pops up and you're like, this thing is so freaking cool. Like
we saw one. Rob stopped the car, I think a couple nights before, and I ran out to check it. And it was one of them, but it was smashed freshly. Yeah. So we were all kind of pissed and bummed out about that. And so it was cool to find that.
Yeah, that you don't get that sometimes. Like we didn't. The only hognose we found in Arizona had been clipped by a car. Yeah. So it was like, it's cool when you can kind of get that where you see one that's hit, and then you can get one that isn't, and
Yeah. And we found a small-eyed snake, which was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun seeing Jan in action.
Yeah, he was in training. Yeah.
So he wanted to get it off the road, you know. So he was, you know, trying to tail it to get it up and off the road. And he was like fearless, you know, just making these like pats on the ground, trying to pin the tail so he could tail it and get it up and get it off the road.
So then,
when he got in the car, he Googled. He knew it was venomous, and then he Googled just how venomous it was, and he was like, "Oh boy,
I shouldn't have done those."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I guess it was, I don't know,
warmer.
Yeah, the humidity though. Then we found this one.
You have my attention.
That one loved Eric.
That one got a lot of Eric.
Oh, he tore me up, man. Oh, that's
fine. He's allowed. He looks like that.
Funny. Jan is like into like handling these venomous snakes, right?
Like he would have grabbed the taipan if he saw one.
But he didn't want to touch the carpet.
No.
But he's watching this carpet just chew the shit out of me. And he's just like, "What are you doing, man?" You know? Oh my God, that thing was beautiful. Dude.
That is gorgeous.
Oh my God, that was a beautiful carpet. Yeah, I was kind of in awe of that one. I got some real good video of that, and yeah, all kinds of stuff.
So it's not a good herping trip unless Eric is bleeding somehow. So
he was bleeding. He was bleeding like good man, and I think you got squeezed. You got squeezed at the end too, or whatever. Did you get?
Oh
leaked
yeah,
on?
I got squeezed for sure.
Yeah,
squeezed for sure.
Always need it.
We just found. I think we found. And here was another one we found, but I'm trying to get the right shot of it. This was another one very similar, but to me, this is kind of a, I don't know why this picture is not downloaded right, but another one that kind of looked like that. This kind of reminded me of like a red, you know, like the man because of the head was red and what we would call red, I guess.
I like that it gets darker down by the tail, too.
Yeah.
I like it sold. Box it up. Yeah.
Box it up.
Yeah. Just smuggle it back to the United States for me. I don't understand. Like, how is that too much to ask?
Here will give you an idea of like how. Yeah. See what I mean?
Wow. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, he should not
Very
grab
little black.
Taipan.
Should grab a Taipan. No, should not.
Then we found this one, which
Eric
to me
disapproves. Yeah.
So again, temperatures, humidity. I'll show that when we're here. 82% humidity, 80 degrees. So it's pretty much the temperature is the humidity. They're kind of equal at all times. It was. But this one, dude, man, this was a beauty. And this wasn't that far away from those red ones. Look at that thing.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time we found a coastal, I was like, oh, I wish Owen was here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do too.
Here's another. This snake to me was one of my favorites. It was a gorgeous carpet.
That is pretty.
How yellow it is at the tail. Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know. This is why my opinion of like, I was listening to Phil and Billy Hunt. Phil Wolf and Billy Hunt on the Reptile Fight Club. I was just catching up, and they were talking about does lineage matter and all this stuff. And I think just in America, our idea of carpet pythons is so fucking wrong, man.
Of course
it's just so wrong of like what's what and what looks like what, and like
Nick was talking about that when we had him on for the book. It's like he's like, we have to sit there and we have to like wave the white flag and be like, listen, we're going to call it a coastal, even though we all know for a fact it is not. Like, and there's just because there's no other way to convey those things. So, yeah.
Here's another shot of, I got you, Keith. There's another shot of that one.
That is cool.
Really cool. Yep. Really, really pretty snake for sure. As Scott said, yeah, you mean jungle. I guess that's a jungle now.
you mean just Chennai. Just Chennai. It's a Chennai. Yeah.
Eric was in heaven at every find too, and like literally, like it was like the first one he found every time we found one.
Yeah.
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 Man.
Yeah.
I was yeah.
I give it to you though, man, because how many carpets you've seen in your lifetime and how many you've kept and how many you've worked with, and to be that excited every time, that was awesome to see just how excited you got every time you saw one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got to the point where I started to feel bad because it's like, you know, and I kind of get like why Australians would be like, it's just a crap it, right? Because it was like every stop was like carpet, 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 and I was just like, oh man, these guys are gonna hate me. But you know, I was like, I can't not be excited.
No.
Carpet,
yeah,
no. Believe me, I was excited, but you were like excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Scott says you're starting to understand my pain. Probably the coolest spot that I think the three of us are going to agree. And I think Rob and Teresa would probably agree too. Was the next place that we kind of went to, and that was it was, I guess it's what was it called? Bimene? I forget what the park.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was really awesome.
Kualua Recreation Area.
Welcome to Bimene. It's in the first panel there. Yeah.
This had to be the most Jurassic Park type. I don't know, man. This thing had it
was humbling, intimidating, and what's the word I'm looking for? It made you feel so inadequate in life just to see a rainforest like that with these trees and these vines. I mean, the vines are bigger around than we, you know, us as adult men. The vines were bigger around than us going up these trees. And Scott said those vines were like, you know, probably hundreds of years old, you know, like in themselves, you know. It was just so primeval. I don't know. It just touches your soul kind of when you're in that place. And the deeper you go into that forest, the more you sink into your insignificance in this world compared to nature. Like it was just so wild.
Yeah, I wish we had a little bit more daylight there because we had a little bit of daylight and it quickly was a night hike. I mean, we took a long night hike, but it turned night really fast. I wish we could have got deeper and seen everything, but
I think I would have got some more. I would have got some more parrot species under my belt. I think if we were there more in the daylight for sure.
Wow. That was dense as hell.
It was just, that was the most awesome experience for sure, Eric.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, it was my favorite spot. We didn't. So what's cool is that as we're walking through here, right, the deeper and deeper we get, it's getting darker and darker, and it's sort of like you know how like it gets darker in the wood. I mean, you can even see as we're walking through. But I remember Scott Eiper, he's saying to me as, here we go, Bob's coming in. Bob Rock.
I'm actually exiting because both games are starting. So, so what's up?
Well, there we go.
Hi, Rob. Bye, Rob. I'll see all you guys later.
Bye, Matt.
See you later.
All right, man.
See you, Matt.
So,
Master Stone.
So see how like, so anyway, I remember Scott saying that like if you look into the logs, you know, if there's no cobwebs on it, then there's a chance that there might be some kind of reptile in there, right? So I'm looking through and I scan it and I freaking saw a blue-tongued skink in there. And there was gotcha, Keith, was a blue-tongued skink in there, but we couldn't get him because we tried to like sort of like get him to come out the other side. He wouldn't do it. And then at the same time, I think it was Keith, you found that other skink, right?
I think Rob said it identified it as a major skink, Rob. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's correct, Keith.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a cool spot, man. It was really just, I don't know, just had a vibe to it that was just really
And
cool.
one thing I'm going to give Teresa a shout out for is her death fear of going to Australia with spiders. And dude, there was these huntsman spiders like the size of your hand, all like no matter where you looked. Once it got dark, they were everywhere, and she ignored them and just walked. Like I don't know how she faded them out of her head, but they were everywhere.
Yeah. I think we walked down until there was
a pond, right?
A pond of some sort, and then we sort of turned back around. And again, it was 80% humidity. I think the temperature was like 78. Yeah, it got dark. I think we found the frog there. Was about it.
Yeah, it was thick, right? The air was like thick in that forest for sure.
And all those little scorpions too, Eric.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And giant snails. We saw a lot of snails, which we were all saying, "Oh, those skinks are probably harvesting those things."
Yeah, and then I got shitty pictures of it, but I think Keith got pictures at the place we're staying at there. Keith was chasing some parrots. What kind of parrot was that?
So those were the pale-headed rosellas. I love those things. Like I never in a million years thought I was going to see those on this trip. I used to keep Eastern rosellas, and I kept them outside here in Jersey, and we bred them quite prolifically, and I loved them. They were awesome. But these to me were like, because they're not available, like, in the States. And they're always like a pinnacle rosella to me. So to actually see them in the wild, and it seemed like it was a pair, right? They were kind of investigating the trees, and then they flew over to the camper there and were kind of hanging out together. Those are really awesome for me to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I think from there, we headed to Scott and Ty's place, and holy shit, man, that was that was really, really amazing. Obviously, number one, because of Imbricata, right? But they had the diamonds, and
nice.
Took some shots of those beautiful diamond pythons. Really, really amazing.
I fell in love with their group of parente. I ain't gonna lie. I could have sat there and watched them all day in their habitats that they have set up for them. They have them, set up outside, Owen, in these aviary basically. So that they were acting really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I'd be obsessed with that too, because I think I remember at Crocosaurus Cove, I was just checking out the parente that was there. It wasn't doing anything; it was just laying there. But I was still like, "It's a parente."
Scott and Ty's were out
outside, Owen. They were not like that. These things
were on fire,
switched on, totally insane. Like you'd be missing fingers if you reached.
Excellent, even better.
Yeah. And like the classic raptor where they're twitching their head and looking at every quick movement with a quick head turn. They were just on point, and nothing was going to get by them. They were just like on point, ready to eat.
That's so cool.
It was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. I was thinking like Lace Monitor was like crazy like that, and then I saw them in action, and I was like, oh no, man! Like these are like Komodo dragon. What?
I remember. I was actually thinking about them the other day because I changed the calendar over, and I think last year's MPR calendar, Scott had a picture of a parente coming out of an egg. On I think that's December, so I think I flipped ahead too far, and I'm like, oh cool. So yeah. I mean, again, I can't stop raving about the for me Imbricata.
This was
Imbricata.
Like,
there it is.
What the hell, man? Holy shit, that snake was so
Rob, did you have to drag him away from the Imbricata?
Yeah.
and Ty and Scott were just getting a kick out of like Eric's reaction, because like they said it invigorated them, because to see somebody so excited about an animal that they're used to seeing, it just sparks that passion again about the animal, to see somebody new seeing it and getting so excited about it.
Makes you appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was like seeing, parentes are probably my favorite monitor. Like,
it's cool.
It was so cool to see one.
It was so cool.
And ricotta is like my favorite carpet. So, it's just, and then, oh, and you'll understand this. We've been doing the show a long time. Scott's sort of been involved as we've
he yells at us regularly,
yells at us and correcting us, making sure we're staying on the straight and narrow, and like, to have somebody with, Scott and Ty's knowledge and to share it with us and to sort of come in and like, I remember when they were building it and you were making fun of me about the moonlight and he was like, talking about it and how I got my balls busted about, but we were watching that be built. Right.
Yes.
And then to actually be there to me was like, I can't believe I'm standing in this room, and their room was fucking amazing. Like, I don't know.
I am seriously jealous of Scott's setup and room, mainly just because, and I know a lot of it had to be the way he set it up with like the sealed doors and things like that because of the venomous and stuff, but still it is a really cool looking professional room. So
I love the protocols. Being in Jersey in the States, I can't keep venomous, right? So I don't have a lot of experience with venomous animals. So to watch and listen and see the protocols that they put in place to maintain those animals that's so far above what we as keepers of non-venomous snakes have to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was super interesting to me to see all that firsthand on right there with Scott and Ty teaching us how the reasons why they do what they do,
Yeah. Especially coming from where, like you're close enough, Keith, PA kind of stuff like that, where venomous is legal, but you want to say that certain people don't take that extra step to do it correctly.
I can tell you from what I know, there's a lot of people in the States that don't do what they do with venomous animals for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can I appreciate venomous keepers that do it correctly, in my opinion. And Scott is one of the ones that I would. I hold him at the very top of that list.
So let me tell you, Ty's right there with him. Though.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of behind the scenes, but man, she's right there with him in the same thing. And like, just the two of them, like, and when we went on a hike, they're sort of like, we would say, oh, look at that. And they, right away, they're like, oh,
they know
this
what
is
it is.
and just like, oh, what the fuck, this is so cool.
Yeah, it was nice having them both with us because you guys were with Scott in front of us, and then me and Teresa were back with Ty. So it wasn't overwhelming, I think, for either one of them because we were hitting them with a lot of questions,
Yeah, and I think my favorite venomous snake of Australia is a red belly black. Seeing the red belly black that he has. I mean, it's a solid black snake with a red belly.
Red belly.
Holy shit, man.
His death adders were insane now, right? How beautiful were they? I had no idea they had the colors that pop on them like that.
I think Scott sent me a picture of an albino red belly, and it's just a white snake with a red belly. And he's like, I don't know if this is enhancing it or I don't. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know either. So,
I would say no.
I would say no, but still pretty. Like,
yeah. So, I don't know, just seeing, these it was cool. Like Scott was showing about how, like, when they flatten out, the sort of like the scales separate, you see a lot of like it's sort of like a cream color on a lot of the death adders and stuff.
It's almost like they're flashing you though, when they're doing it. It's like a quick, like intimidating flash of color. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Anything that's brightly colored and pretty usually is trying to tell you to get the fuck away from it. Yeah. Like it's just usually that's just normal. So
and the collet snakes they had too, the way they would flatten out and kind of give that
sort of go to the side.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you guys get do they have type? They have Taipans.
Right? Yeah, they had Taipan. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can't remember. He was showing us. I don't know if I think you were there with me, Keith. I'm not sure if you were there, Rob, when he was showing us. But he had like this bioactive sort of setup, and I don't think there was anything in it. But he had this app where it sort of controlled. It would be like, morning sunlight. What that would sort of replicate that, and then it would be like
enhance. It would build. The light would build and get brighter and brighter.
I like it.
Would replicate a storm, like so the lightning would sort of flash and all. And if you sort of had like misters in there that would go off, I'm like, wow, that is fucking cool, man. It was really,
and he set it up
cool.
like with all the plants from that specific area, like everything in there was specific to the spot that he was trying to recreate. So it was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. We just spent the day there. I Googled about imbricata for a lot. And
we got to see his library.
Saw the library. Holy shit, dude. Oh, and I got a cool book.
Yeah.
Scott gave me a book, but guess whose it was?
What? Why would he do such? That's why he wanted it gone.
Yeah. But it was just cool to see it. They just had their Lapid book came out.
Yes.
So I got so many books to read, man. I don't know. I got so many.
But I don't even like
so many things to read.
This is the problem is we bought books. We bought that American Snake book to do for the next Reptile Book Club. Screw that book. Forget that book. That book is useless.
Who cares about American Snakes?
I got my complete carpet. I got my more complete carpet python book while you guys were gone. So I don't. Yeah, no, done.
Oh, that's it. It's a. What is that? Fluval light? Yeah, really cool. But he had an app on his phone and controlled it all. Is really neat.
Can't make his animals experience a hurricane if he wishes. I don't know why he would do that, but he can.
And something you would have been really good at is anybody that visits their facility, the door entering the facility, he has everybody sign and put a little quote. And Ty said, "The more you bust Scott's balls, the better."
Yeah, well.
So it's pretty interesting to read all the things, but I'm sure you could have came up with something very creative.
I'd be afraid to go too far because he'd call in on the holiday show and make me cry. So, it would just.
Yeah. And then Teresa spotted a leaf tail.
Yeah.
And
cool.
It was cool because Scott was spotting them left and right, and we're like, "Where? Who? What? When?"
What are you talking about?
And then he's kind of showing us how you spot them so easily. How he was spotting them so easily, and Teresa found a nice one right at eye level of one of those massive trees. So that one was easy to photograph for us.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think we had that whiskey, which was nice. That was really nice.
I'm a whiskey drinker now. It's like, okay. All right.
Yes, Eric we kept looking at Eric, and he's got this big shitting grin, and he'd be giggling. And he's like, "I just don't drink, man. This is really
because he's herping. He got some whiskey. He got to finally touching imbricata.
Dude, Parentes. Come on.
Yeah. He could get struck by lightning and die a happy man. Yeah.
Oh man, got to hang out with Scott and Ty. Seen their outside stuff too. How they have it set up. Oh man, dude, the skink setups that they have.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's really, really cool. Wow, what an awesome place to stop. And then as we're driving back looking for food or who knows what we were looking at, Rob spots this unbelievably beautiful
and different.
Another
carpet python. This reminded me of like Burmese python type of look.
Yeah,
but that was
saddles. I like it. Or
that was really, really, really cool find.
And that was in a very urban area. Like, I mean, I know you guys all know that they were in very urban areas, but it's still cool.
Yeah,
the mindset of seeing a python in such an urban area, it was pretty cool.
Rob, did you see that on the road or was it on that side, that park sort of thing?
No, it was on the road. It was like halfway out, half its body length. So maybe, I don't know, 2 foot, 1.5 feet, 2 foot into that lane. So swerve around and then a little bit of action because we had one car that was coming at us. So I had to run in the lane to get them to switch lanes.
Definitely saved that snake's life that night for sure. Because he was
I mean, if it was a car other than us, we would have
been gone.
You know.
Yeah.
Rob is very quick to run down the middle of the street, waving his arms about to make the other person go to the lane, because he did the same thing for the Desert King snake when we were in Arizona. So, and that was a
tractor trailer coming down on Rob. He's just like, move over.
Either we're about to save the snake's life, or we are going to have a very difficult phone call to make in a minute. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There's us drinking the whiskey.
Eric's already smiling.
See, Rob has positioned himself close to the camera, so he appears on the same level as everybody else. Eric is the furthest away and appears much like he look right there with the short part.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I am the shortest one.
Yeah. Look, see how
Scott
you did
even have some height on me there. Oh shit!
Eric, show the table shot.
You screwed that one up. Yeah.
Yeah. The what? What shot?
The table shot where you were sipping tea.
So the pinky, yeah, that was out. What's up with the barbecue? Does Scott not know how to cook?
Scott doesn't know how to find an active grill.
Yeah.
Scott prepared with food.
Yeah. Okay. So Scott said he was going to take us to the spot where he took Dave Kaufman to, in order to, I guess you cook on the grill, and out come the lace monitors out of the park.
Okay, you're right.
And then they come to
because you're cooking,
to get some sausage,
right.
So well, we get there, we're all excited. Not only are we starving, but we're excited to see Lacey's just coming out of the jungle. Turns out the barbecue was broke. So
and you can relate on this one, having gone on plenty of these adventures, that the only food we'd had that day was that morning at like 8:30.
Yeah.
And at this point we're talking about 6:30 or 7 at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Scott was kind of like
nothing.
Yeah, Scott's kind of like
and
food,
so there is a festering feeling of like, hey, I could go for a feed at this point. And these varying grills just weren't working. It's one of those where it's like, oh, if I feel a little hungry, that probably means that like Keith and Teresa are starving right now.
And Scott was like, food ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
But right now it is. Like, yeah.
I think the Parks Commission like actually took some of the grills out that were typically there. Even they were gone.
I mean, if you're telling me that every time you fire up this grill, lizards of various size come walking towards you and people, and they could not be, maybe aren't like the nicest when trying to take food from idiots who will try to hand feed them. Yeah, I'm sure they took those grills out of there.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, it was, and then we kind of, pretty much that was, I think, the end of the trip.
That was the end of it. Then started your 48-hour trip back home.
I did. Rob started sharing some of his pictures, so I did a lot of video, but Rob was sort of the picture guy, so I'm sure you'll see in the better shots as we go through. But that was crown snake. Which was pretty cool.
That was probably the most fun out of. I already thumbed through the more complete carpet python, and it's like a lot of the pictures that Rob submitted. I'm like, hey, I'm like over here, just off the shot. Like I'm over there, and I'm over here. I'm like, oh look, that Owen Pelliot. Those might be my hands. I don't remember. So yeah, it's all those other things. So it's kind of that fun thing. Owen adjacent to a lot of these things.
Yeah. Scott was beating himself up for not delivering on the barbecue, But it is what it is. But it was still, to me, dude. I could have went without barbecue for a week. I fucking saw imbricata, bro. Like, I mean, come on. But yeah,
another shot of that whiskey would have hurt.
That would have been nice. That would have been nice. I would definitely like to sip on that in the holiday show for sure, because that hit me quick, like real quick. They pull out the shot glass, right? And I'm not a drink, especially not like I'll drink a beer here and there, but I don't drink like whiskey and shit. And he pulls out shot glasses that are like like a double shot, and he sits them on the counter. I'm like, oh man, am I going to be the only one that doesn't drink this? I guess I'm going to have to. And then I'm thinking, like, are they going to sip it or are they going to shoot it? And like, everybody's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. oh, that's pretty good. Like it was. What happened to Owen? He had enough.
Right? He said enough.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm out. Oh man, who the fuck is this? Block user. Okay. Don't know what's going on there. Sexfind.xyz. Okay. They're blocked. I don't know. Rob, what was your takeaway from the trip? You kind of joined us a little late. What was your highlight?
I don't know. I think obviously the whole thing was fabulous. Great group of people. Really, couldn't have been better. It was great having Teresa, great having Matt. Obviously, you two. I thought it was cool that we went to spots that really even the Aussies I don't think go to. They're not points of emphasis, and maybe it's because a lot of that stuff is the habitat or biome type that runs into Brisbane, so it feels not that different. But to me, that was pretty cool. It wasn't just like, oh, you're going to these known places or whatever. It was a lot of stuff that was pretty different. So I really enjoyed that. Obviously, the Barbata was just awesome. The interaction with that animal, it being so visually impressive, so distinct from, in terms of, I really wanted to see a Barbata because they're kind of the bigger, bolder, more different bearded dragon in the first place, right? And they're the most robust. They're a whole, 7, 8, 9 species, something like that. But Barbata is the one that is the most bearded dragon of all of them. And to have that one be that particular exceptional example as the first one was really great.
Yeah, I agree. Owen's internet crashed, so he's hitting it with a hammer, and he'll be back in a minute. His words, not mine. I don't know.
And obviously, finding just under a carpet a day, can't hope for better than that. We were, that's one of those that it's like, it was good to get it off the bucket list on the first day. That's always good to relieve some of that pressure on that. Yep. And those two up there, those are ones that really aren't found, that location for them again in the same way is not a common spot for it. So great stuff there as well.
Yeah, I thought overall it was great to be back. So for people that don't know, Rob, me, and it was actually Riley was supposed to join us in 2020. It was like March what, 16th, I think we were leaving. It was literally like the days before they just shut everything down because of COVID. And we were going to Western Australia, and this was our first time back. And wow. What a trip to be back. It's good times, always good times, plenty of laughs, Oh, I got to tell my crazy story. There can't be a Australian trip without Eric doing something stupid. So I'm on the plane and I fly into Vancouver by myself. It was originally me and Matt were flying together, which oddly enough, when we're flying, the seat next to me was empty, which was Matt's seat. And he was on a different plane. So why they put him on a different plane, I have no idea. They're like, oh, we got to separate these two. I don't know. 2 Philly people on one plane can't happen. We got to get them away. So we land, and I'm so kind of flustered that I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get to this connecting flight. Blah blah blah. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is when I was flying in. Yeah. When we were flying, was this
into Vancouver?
Okay. Right. So I had the complete carpet book with me, which, by the way, was a bad idea to bring because the thing was as fucking big as a Bible, So I put my passport in the complete carpet python book, and I put the complete carpet python book in the little pouch in the seat pocket on the airline. So I have this backpack because we're not carrying we're not checking Owen's internet dropped again, so we're not carrying our luggage because we hear about how bad Canada is with losing luggage. So I'm carrying this thing. It weighed I don't know as much. It was heavy as shit. So anyway, I get it on and I go running off the plane, and I'm walking halfway across this the airport. I got to go all the way to the other side. I get to the spot where you got to show your passport, and I'm like, oh shit. And I just remember that I left the book with my passport in the plane. So I run back with this fucking backpack on the back of me to get to the plane. I go in and I'm like, I say to the guy, I was like, oh my God, I left my book and it's got my passport in the book. He's like, no problem, go ahead. So he starts walking me to the plane, but apparently like the airline, everybody that was taking care of the plane, the pilots, everybody, they were trying to get off and I guess catch wherever they had to go. So they're now pissed that I'm going on the plane. They're like, you can't come on the plane. And the guy's like, no, he has something. So he's letting me go. I was like, I swear I'll be real quick. So I run back, I grab the book, and then I come back. But holy shit, if I would have forgot that would have been a bad trip.
That would have been the end of the trip for you.
Yeah. That would have been it. I would have been flying back to Philly. But somehow I made it. So what happened to Owen? He's out again. I don't know. Let's see what's going on with that. I don't know. Overall, I think it was a great time, and I got plenty of video. I'll be making some short little video clips and stuff of things that we saw and all the different carpets and lace monitors and all kinds of shit. So look forward.
I really like the Burtons as well. That was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt was saying about how we were kind of bummed out at the one that we saw that got hit. And then
because especially in the context that it wasn't hit when I saw it, and then two cars coming right at us, and nothing to be done for it. But it was then, not in the condition I saw it 10 seconds earlier.
Yeah.
So to find a good one, a couple days later was good.
Yeah. Okay, Owen, you're gonna have to listen to that story on the back end because I can't repeat it again.
I will.
But you would have been
definitely try.
You would have been laughing because I'd screwed up royally. But
to be honest, I expect those things, and
yes,
a little.
I figured you
I'm
would.
a little annoyed I wasn't told prior to the show about this. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to keep it a surprise, but
here
we are.
The 5-second version is that he left his passport in the more complete carpet python in the seat pouch and left it on the plane.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, was he able to go back? I mean, obviously he was able to go back. He was not detained somewhere in Canada. Yeah.
Yes.
God.
So I just didn't want you to, we don't want to miss your total reaction on here.
I mean, that was
the upshot.
Yeah. I think I would have been panicking more for him if I had been with him than him actually panicked running back on the plane. Yeah. Because how far did you get before you had to go back?
All the way to the other side of the airport.
Jesus Christ!
Like where you go through passport control.
Luckily, none of us knew it until we finally did see Eric, and he was just full of sweat. So we're like, what happened to
you? No, that is my biggest fear. You know how many times I had my passport in my back pocket the entire time we were in Australia, and I kept patting it like it's still there, there.
I usually wear it around my neck, like
some sort of child
right?
that's traveling by himself. Yes, exactly.
I have it on a string around my neck, and it's in a little pouch.
Hello, my name is Eric. Please deliver to Matt Minatola.
I'm thinking like, well, this is kind of childish. I'm pretty much an adult. I could take it off and put it in the book.
Oh no,
wrong answer. Now
Don't
we know.
Change it up mid-trip.
Dude, it was a bad plan, man. It was a bad plan, but it all worked out. But I don't know. This was a carpet python trip, bro. You kind of.
Nah, listen.
I guess you had other stuff to do. I mean, I guess that's the thing.
There was other more important things that needed to be kind of handled. So,
yes, of course.
Yes,
I understand.
That is all. So, dude, I regret not going on trips when you guys were in the continental United States. Australia, definitely, but if I can keep my powder dry for when Rob is like, listen, this is it. We're going to the Kimberly with or without you, and then I can jump on that one, I'll be okay. So Rob's not allowed to make that ultimatum in 2023. Okay, 2024 and on, just push it back, go somewhere else. So
I think
you're all right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's doable.
Because I think if it would be as soul crushing it is that you guys find like carpets without me, to see you guys be like, look, we found this is our third rough scale. I die. Okay, I'd just die.
I could not share that pic with you.
You're right. I couldn't. I'd have to just. You do it knowing that you were killing me. Like that would be it.
That would be like
you not getting your passport, Eric, and all of us holding the imbricata at Scott and Todd's.
Oh my God, that would have been bad.
My heart.
Eric's stuck in freaking Vancouver.
Yeah,
can't go home. Can't go anywhere.
I'm stuck in Canada and Owen's holding an imbricata. I would have been upset.
I think. Look at this. We found this imbricata. Of course, Eric is at the U.S. Embassy in Vancouver trying to figure out how to get home. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, all good. All good. Yeah, I don't know what else. It was cool. Scott was showing us he had a couple carpets there. His tully was just as mean as the tully that Rob gave me. So that
good.
was
So it's genetic.
That adds up. Let's see. The Brettles that he had was like crazy, like a hypo, but that's normal for them. Really cool blackheads that he had. He had some really cool blackheads. That was cool. So
locality specific blackheads was pretty cool.
So like Keith, are you itching to add some more carpet python now? Because I mean, after the first trip to Australia, you wanted to add carpets. You wanted to add.
Well, unfortunately, what I want to add is Parente.
Yeah,
that's a big unfortunate.
I don't know where you were at. I think the three of us are probably in this spot. To me, it's like every time I come back from these trips, I want to try to like recreate that feel that I have, that I was there, and that environment, and like feeling like I have to do better keeping these animals.
Absolutely,
and it's like and it just makes me want to keep less better.
Exactly. Yep.
If that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think each time that I do these trips, especially when I'm seeing, I guess I feel this way kind of when I'm in the States herping and all, but more so when I'm seeing species that I keep, and it's kind of like, oh wow, man. I think at one point, like me and Keith were like walking through that. What was the name of that park, Rob? The park we were talking about that was really crazy, that we loved.
The first big
one on the second to last night.
Yeah.
So it's in Great Sandy National Park.
Great Sandy now. Okay. I think me and Keith had mentioned, like, how do you recreate this in a box? It just like, I don't know. It was just crazy.
So many options, and
it's
just, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. That was kind of it. That was the trip. It was an amazing time, and it was just long enough, to where it was like, yeah, this is good. And then, but coming home, we talked about our trip home, Rob. It was just fucking terrible. Rob was home in like an hour. We were home like the next day, like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was saying, though, the funny part of that is that, in a different basis and for a different reason, but I was then running around and taking my daughter's stuff and all these things, so that like I wasn't actually home at my house until after Keith and Teresa said, "Hey, we're home," despite landing like 12 hours earlier.
Yeah.
I think Rob was talking to me in the middle of the night. We're sitting on that freaking W-shaped couch.
Yeah, like, still in Canada. Yeah.
Bullshit. And he's just like, well, I don't feel so bad because I just got home. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. I was within, 5 miles of my house for the previous 10 hours. But
I feel like that would be more torturous if I was close to my bed but could not get in it. Like, I think Eric was nowhere near it. Like, that's fine. He can deal. But you're like close. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I think it helped with the sleep though, because I didn't have any problem. Just like, okay, then I was awake and then I was asleep. So,
are you all recovered?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's harder for you guys with the extra 2 hours, because at 14 hours different, it's not that bad, really. I mean, it's basically you just flip, and if you can stay awake, then you're okay. But 16, you get into those when it's like a third or 2/3 off. I think that's really tough.
Yeah, it's been a rough week.
You're at 12, right? 12 for you guys. So I don't know. I would have thought that'd be okay. I think that's about you having to go to work, Eric.
Yeah. And of course, oh my God, I walk into the guy ODing, and oh my God, it was
There's the guy. It's good.
Business as usual, I guess. It was just crazy, but
Right back into it, eh?
Yeah, throw you right back into the fire. Owen's frozen again. Oh boy, we got to get him some.
It's going to keep happening.
There he is.
It's going to keep happening.
Well, we're almost at the end anyway. I don't know. You guys have any closing remarks? Anything? Looking forward to seeing Rob's picks. That's for sure.
Yeah. That couple he posted already today were a lot different than our camera shots.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're always giving Rob a hard time because he's taking about 400 shots per stop.
Meanwhile, we take like 3 with our phone, and we're like, okay, we got it.
Move on. Let's go.
But Rob's pictures are the ones that I'm going to have framed in my office.
Exactly.
And I was there. I was nearby that. Yeah.
But I don't know. Any closing thoughts? Go ahead and say. I don't know. Go ahead, Keith. What's your thoughts?
I'm just so appreciative that you guys include me in these trips. I mean, it's awesome to see the environment. It's so cool to hang with kindred souls for that many days when you're kind of out of life's realities, and you're all talking about your passion. And the whole trip, aside from the animals, is just life-changing without a doubt. More people got to get into that aspect of this hobby, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Rob? Well, Scott's making fun of you, and you're not talking about, so that's good. And Scott said he has a comment.
Yeah.
I can't see his comments, so that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, Scott has of course, Scott pulls out. I had a camera like this. Rob has a camera like this. And Scott has a camera, and his camera has like these side flashes. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Really, really cool. But I'll show you one of the he did take some shots, so I'm gonna share. This was the first. I was pretty happy that we saw this snake, only because it was in one of the books. I said, wow, that's cool. So that's cool. Yeah. And then here's a close up of it. Man, this snake would not cooperate with Scott, man.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Cool shot. So.
Yeah. I'm glad Scott has a camera that can take shots from the moon.
Yeah. Well, it's like the flash thing that he had going on, man.
We thought Rob was blinding animals across Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, who was it when Scott pulled that thing out? It was either Rob or you, Eric. That's when holy shit.
I was indisposed, Keith.
That's right. I forgot you had an emergency.
No, it was me. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I thought we were shooting a movie or something.
We did lose Rob for about an hour, and we were getting very concerned that Scott even went back to look for him.
Scott says he has that Ty and him have a comment, but I don't know.
Rob got lost?
Yeah, I did not get lost.
He got lost from us.
Yeah, I had an alternative adventure that I had a side quest,
if you will,
attend to. And unfortunately, the only bummer of it was we had the walkie-talkies there, and I was taking pictures of the geckos that were further up the tree, and y'all said, "Hey, we're gonna walk away." And I should have tossed you one of those, because then I could have just said, "I'll see you when I see you. It's cool." Instead, I was like, "Well, I need to go attend to things on my side quest, and I'll see you when I see you," but in my head only. And apparently that caused some concern.
Walkie-talkies don't work when they're both in the same area. It doesn't. I
was able to communicate with myself very well. But yeah,
I talked to myself really well.
Scott took a big
where I was.
Scott took a big loop around, and he came back without Rob, and all our faces kind of dropped. Like, oh shit, we really lost Rob.
But this is like, it's like when we got to Arizona and he went that way, and we all looked this way, and he, you know, and here comes Dustin, and we're like, what? He's still gone. Like, it was, yeah.
I've been on every herping trip with Rob except for one, right? So every trip I've been on except for the one. So I kind of felt pretty good that Rob wasn't like got
Dead,
disappeared or fell into a hole or something. I was like, there's something to this, but it was still kind of a little like a little creepy when we're like yelling, Rob. And I was like, man, he's taking pictures. Don't worry about it. He's probably like focused in on a gecko all the way up at the top of the thing. He's all right. And then they turned off the lights. We turned off all the flashlights and it's pitch dark. And I'm like, we can't see. Wait a minute. I don't see any light, any nothing.
It was like something picked him up, put him under their arm, and walked away with him.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this little light pops up, and yeah, sure enough, there he is. I was like, see, Rob's okay.
What you should have done is you should have jumped on top of the car and just been like, caca. Like, he would have answered back eventually. Yeah.
So, Scott was saying it was a pleasure to have you guys over. Thanks for spending time with us. And we hope that you got something from our time spent with us. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got stuff and I wasn't even there. Like,
funny? It's funny when we were with Jason. Jason was his name, right? The guy that we were herping with Jan. So we're herping with Jason and we're telling him that we're going up to the Ypres, Scott and Ty's place. And he's like, oh, wow. Scott, really? Ty? Oh, man.
Yeah.
But
I said to him, I like, do you know them? He's like, are you kidding me? They're Australian royalty.
Oh.
Yeah. But I just thought it was amazing to sort of, like I said, to see their place. We saw that being built. We were doing shows as they were building it. And, I remember he would pop in. We were talking about building reptile rooms. And he's like, you ain't building shit. Look at this, man. I got moonlights and this and that. I don't know. Just to see it in the flesh was just awesome. And they were both awesome people. And, and they're going to be
starting. Felt like you knew him forever, right, Eric? Like he was so comfortable. We felt like we knew him forever.
I think that was the happiest I was on the trip. I couldn't stop fucking smiling, man. I was just like, I just had a smile like, it was great. It was great, but they were great. Now we're preparing for the next adventure. Dun, dun, dun.
Cape York.
Yes. I think, right, Rob?
Yep.
Yeah. This is actually a cool book, Rob. I was talking about that. I don't know if you have this, Scott, but this is actually a cool book. It's the natural history of the Cape York Peninsula. I thought it was like a field guide, but it's more of like just about everything that we going on up there. But I'll put it right next to my book.
Not be mentioned.
Yeah. And look, Owen, it's on there once. Twice.
Oh,
3 times.
All times? Jeez, like everywhere.
Once, twice. It's actually a pretty good book. It's got range.
Scott put that on there so we knew who had touched it before? Or?
No. Yeah. But no, all good. I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing else. What are your thoughts, Owen? You done?
My thoughts are I'm glad you guys had a good trip. I'm glad you guys found a ton of shit. And I would deem this trip I deem this trip successful in MPR stands. And congrats to all who were involved. Y'all came back alive and with pictures. So you've achieved gold star all around. Good job.
It is Scott, it's by Dawn and Clifford Frith. It's by the Wilderness Society. It's a really cool book. Really cool book. But, man, I have a book that Scott doesn't have in that huge library.
No, he has it. It has a different cover or something on it.
It's on the bottom shelf.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that thing. It's over here. Yeah.
Very impressive.
I think I went down a couple notches when Scott saw the book that I was taken to out of his whole collection. I think I went down a few notches in his.
Why? What was the book?
Take the complete ball python?
No, it was that National Geographic Reptiles book.
Oh, yeah. The one you
from
saw
like
in
the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those pythons and boas on. I know. Look at my little meaningless bookshelf that I got compared to.
Dude, I'm getting a new bookshelf that's coming tomorrow. That's going to take up that entire corner, and I was all excited because I got all these books, and now you're telling me that's small potatoes back there. All right.
Well, you all have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So. All right. So tomorrow we're going to be doing carpets and coffee.
Yes.
And I don't know. At some point, we're gonna have to do the calendar winners. Is that a thing? Do we have that done? Have you been working?
No, I sent that, what did you like? I told you I sent all that stuff out.
Oh, in an email?
I went to the Evernote thing and I just sent it all out.
I don't have Evernote anymore.
Oh,
what do you think?
All right.
Well, 2011.
I don't know. All right, I'll redo it.
Dear, oh dear.
Yeah. So I did all that. So yeah, I what?
Who was the winner?
There's no winner. You have to vote.
The winner has to vote with us.
I don't remember.
Oh my God. Look, he had one job.
I did it to the best of my abilities. You should not be shocked in how this turned out. So, but there's a ton of, we did not actually get a lot of entries when it came to certain categories. Like Darwin, I think there was 4 people who entered. But then again, Green Tree Python had like 30 something plus entries. So I had to slim it down, but I will get that out to you tomorrow.
Share these pics. What pics?
Those pics?
I don't know.
No.
What pics?
There are no pics.
I did share the
Parenti won the secondary thing, but it didn't win Morelia of the year. So we got to figure that out. I forget who did that. I'll double check.
All right. Well, we'll have to go back to that. All right. Yeah. So carpets and coffee tomorrow, and I think I might have the carpets and coffee roast by then.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. So we'll see. Oh yeah. I think the Parenti did win.
Did the Parenti win?
That sounds right.
Yeah. I think it did. It did.
It's a non-Morelia, and the lizard won Morelia of the year. Is that the thing we did?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, then, so Scott's getting it.
Okay. So we got to send it to Scott.
I'll figure it out, and I'll get it out to Eric tomorrow.
Scott, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Depends on who took the picture. Was it Scott or was it Ty? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Might not be Scott. I don't know.
Yeah.
From what I hear, she's a better photographer.
You have to split the hairs there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. And I guess we'll see you next time. And we'll be back on track for all the other podcasts and such. And now that I'm back, there's a whole bunch in the wings waiting to be edited and whatnot. So I think you guys are doing a BOAS show soon, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think in the next week or two, right, Rob?
Yeah, I got to look at what we had, write that in the calendar for the date that we had. But yeah, certainly in the next 10 days or something.
Cool.
All right. Until next time, Owen, you want to do your thing?
Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch everybody next week for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night. No, you were